Hey everybody out there in the YouTube universe, this is Mr. Movie, and in today's video we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm not going to be doing a top 5 by actor or director that is in my collection, but I'm going to be doing the top 5 hood movies that are in my collection. Now, to be considered, the movie has to be a hood classic. I think we all know what that means, and this wasn't easy. So what I did was there was so many. I had about 30 that I was considering, but I excluded a few things to kind of keep it what I was going after. So I excluded all blaxploitation flicks, so no Dolomite, no Shaft, no Education of Sonny Carson, none of that. Also no sports movies, so no, like He's Got Game, things like that. And even no comedies, so no Friday, no Harlem Nights, nothing like that. I try to keep it sort of in a box of what I was going after for hood movies. I think you'll see what I'm talking about when I get into the list. Now, this may be perceived as being for a certain audience, and I can see where people might say that, like if you're not from the hood, you wouldn't get it, but I don't think so much anymore, and I think that's because of the influence of hip hop. I think hip hop is so big and so worldwide now that, hood classics are mentioned so much, and themes are taken from them, and rappers are actors now and stuff like that. I just think that so many people are into the culture that you don't have to be from the block really to enjoy these movies. Maybe to get some of it you do, like to understand really what's going on in some cases, but to enjoy them, I don't think so. I think now a lot of people can basically enjoy, hood movies. So starting in right away at number 5, I went a little bit off topic here, but not really. I mean, this is a hood movie, but it's not that well known. If you haven't seen it, you need to check this out. It's Fresh. Great movie. I love this movie. Very underrated. Like I said, I don't think too many people really know this movie, and if they do, it's not appreciated the way it should be. Samuel L. Jackson's probably the biggest person that you know in the movie. Giancarlo Esposito is another big person that's in the movie, and it's such a great concept. I mean, this little kid in the hood selling drugs, but he wants to get out. His father is a almost homeless type chess player, really smart, Samuel L. Jackson, and he doesn't have too much to do with his son's life, but his son is big into chess too, and that's their interaction, basically how they bond and how they discuss things, and the kid took the lessons of chess and applied it to the street. And basically what he did was he placed people like pawns against each other, rival drug gangs and stuff that he worked for, and set them up in like precise ways. So, and he was making all of this money, and nobody suspected him because he was a kid, and nobody could ever conceive that a little kid not only could think of this, but pull it off and set up all these different scenarios. And, he ends up on top at the end, not in a drug kingpin kind of way, but he's able to get out with some money, save his sister, and just play all these people against each other. It's really intense, really good acting, especially by the kids in the movie, and it's got humor, but a serious tone, and it's a really good look at how bad the hood is, especially for kids. It's a really cool movie. Really good idea, very unique. I think you should check it out if you haven't seen it already. The next 4, I think, are pretty much, if not all of them are in your top 5 or your top 10, I don't know what to tell you. So I kind of went with the chalk on this one, but there was so many that I had to put away that I really didn't want to. It was tough, but number 4, Menace to Society. Being from the East Coast, This movie really, I mean, there's a couple of movies like this that shows you what it's like to be from the West Coast, like especially California. You know, it's a glimpse into how their hood is. You know what I mean? You know how your hood is, but you don't really know how their hood is because you never been there, you never lived there, things like that. So this was really eye-opening to me. And, you know, you get a little bit of the gang culture in there, you know, not too much, you know, with the Bloods and the Crips kind of thing. There's other movies that show that better. This is more just, you know, a couple of dudes from the neighborhood who just like, you know, one of them is completely nuts. The other one is trying sort of to do the right thing, but he sells drugs, and, you know, they get into all kinds of trouble. And, you know, it's really like, it's a lot of times these movies are about making the wrong decisions, and how being in that environment, you make the wrong decision, that's your ass. So, I mean, I think that this movie especially is one of those where, you know, you could be in the wrong place, the wrong time with the wrong person, and your whole life could get jacked up. And I think, you know, this shows that really well. You know, great actors, great story. And Samuel Jackson's in this one too. Isn't he in every movie? But the main star, the main guy you focus on, Kane, he's a very interesting character because, I mean, you got his crazy friend. He's someone that, you know, you see in all different movies, but Kane's interesting because he doesn't want to, he loves kind of the hood, but he doesn't want to be there, and he's struggling with staying or leaving. And not just mentally, but physically. Like, just as they're about to get out, it goes down, and he doesn't make it. You know what I mean? It's like he really wanted to do it, and you get to that point, and you're like, okay, you know, someone is finally going to make it out. And wrong decisions and waited too long, and those mistakes could cost you, you know, when you're in the hood. So yeah, it's a really deep thought when you say, you know, if I would have made this one different choice, or, you know, I'd have left a little earlier. And it's just something to think about. So, you know, really good, you know, hood action. But other than that, it has a good message to it if you dig deep into it. So number 4 is Menace to Society. Number 3, switching coasts and also switching types of movies, is New Jack City. Oh, classic movie. Ice-T, Wesley Snipes, Judd Nelson, just the whole rise from selling like nickel bags all the way to Kingpin. But I mean, they take it to the next level. They take over a whole projects. You know what I mean? And the acting in this movie is phenomenal. And I love how you got the two, you know, the trope of the two rogue cops, you know, one's black, one's white, how do, you know, from different worlds, that kind of thing. But it's a little different in this movie because they're from different worlds, but very similar. You know what I mean? Both guys around drugs and poverty, and, you know, even Judd Nelson says in the movie, you know, it's not black and white, it's green. You know, and we all fall victim to this kind of stuff. You know, just not in the same place maybe, and with the same circumstances. But I love Wesley Snipes is so great in this movie. And, you know, it's so larger than life how they are, like their whole crew, and there's so many classic lines in it. And you know, I love the whole, you know, Mario Van Peebles is their boss, and he puts the two together. He puts Judd Nelson and Ice-T's characters together. So listen, you two are some New Jack cops. You got to take down a New Jack gangster. And, you know, putting them two together. Chris Rock is in it. I mean, there's a lot of people in it. It's such a classic, great movie. Great story. Because it's everything. It's the hood. It's, you know, a drug kingpin. It's an undercover cop story. It's the two cops having to join forces from different world story. You got all these different things, all these elements in this one movie, and it takes place in the hood. You know, it's just really cool movie, and it's one of my favorite. I've seen it so many times. It's just, and a great soundtrack too. So coming in at number 3 is New Jack City. Coming in at number 2, going back to the other coast, Boys in the Hood. I mean, hood is literally in the title. Another one. So many great actors. The movie that showed you Ice Cube was gonna be a big actor. Just like I would probably say the last movie was showing you Ice-T could be a big actor. But this was big because I remember, because this was before that, and it was like, Ice Cube, he's NWA. You're used to him like that, and you're like, okay, he's in a movie now, and I mean, he's basically playing himself, sort of, but he does such a good job at it, you don't mind it. And, like I said, so many great actors. And this movie, even more than the other one, is a really big kind of cautionary tale. I mean, you got two brothers. I mean, and just like that, it's about trying to get out. And one of them's a football star, and he's just about to get out on this scholarship. Be wrong place, wrong time, having the wrong brother, bumping into the wrong people, that kind of thing. And it's sad because he's like a good dude and his brother is a bad dude, but he's the one that dies and his brother doesn't. You know what I mean? And it also, what this movie shows, even from the beginning, I always compare this in a weird way to Stand By Me, because you got four little black kids walking on the train tracks going to see a dead body, just like the other movie, but the scenery could not be more different between those two. The correlation is crazy. I don't think that was intentional, but it always bugged me out. That seeing those two things, and it just popped into my mind immediately, and I was like, wow, look at the difference here. But the cautionary tale really is put forward and hammered home by one of the greatest names in a movie, Furious Styles. So it's the father of I guess you would say is the main character, Trey, and basically it's Lawrence Fishburne, and there's times in the movie where he directly breaks it down to them, how this works, how gentrification works, how, why do you think that there's a gun store in every corner, and why do you think there's a liquor store in every corner? They want us to kill ourselves. And there's the interaction with him and the cop when his son is a little kid. It's just, and how he sees that, and you have the dichotomy between him and his father and his mother. He's with his mother when he's little. He comes to his father when he's a little older. So he's got to learn how to be a man, and very different approaches to parenting. And he's got to deal with these two different ideas and these two different worlds. And he's a good kid too, and he's smart, got a nice girlfriend, but he almost gets caught up. And just as he's about to make the wrong decision, he makes the right decision, and he survives and he goes on. So it's another kind of thing, like I said, with Menace to Society. It's that one decision, or being with that one wrong person, or wrong move, and it can completely mess you up. And great story, great direction in this movie. And I just think it's such a classic, and it never gets old, because the story of the hood never gets old. So, and that's one of the main things, the thread through these movies, is that this always continues. It's a non-stop cycle. You got to break that cycle and get out of it. And it's easier said than done. But number two, Boys in the Hood. Number one, I have to say I'm kind of biased here, being from New York, switching coasts again, because the reason why I picked this movie is there's another rapper in it who you saw, okay, he's gonna be a big actor. But I remember being a kid seeing this movie, and it just hit home, because it's so like, how we grew up, at the style of clothing, the music, the amazing soundtrack, and putting rappers in the movie, and it just being right, like, hit right where I live, you know what I mean, literally, and that's Juice. I mean, it's such a classic movie. I mean, you got guns and drugs and all the stuff in the hood, but you got the hip hop element, and one of them's a DJ, one of them wants to be a gangster, you know what I mean? It's and the other thing too, like I was gonna say, but I kind of skipped over it because I got into a little bit of deepness there with Boys in the Hood. But it also is like Boys in the Hood, where it shows the camaraderie of friends. These are your boys. You know what I mean? When you grow up around the way, you have your boys. There's another Stand By Me thing is I'll never have friends as good as I did as the friends that I had when I was 13 years old. And that is so true. And that comes through in these movies. The difference in this one, though, is unlike the other ones, really, is that in this one, one of them turns bad and turns on the other ones. And it's, it's a really thrilling, action-packed, edge of your seat kind of thing, because and Tupac is the actor rapper I was talking about, where you never know what he's gonna do. He's such a wild card, and like he wants to be gangster so bad and have the juice in the hood so bad that he's willing to turn on his boys to the point of killing them, robbing places, all this stuff, willing to risk it all to be the man. And that's another trope that you see all the time, trying to be that dude, and it could go the wrong way. And it just shows what kind of a villain. He's a great villain because he's willing to go that extra mile and turn on his friends, like the guys he considers his brothers, and be phony to their families after they're dead, and all. I mean, really intense. And like they were in high school in the movie, you know what I mean? And coming up, when you're a kid, you're like, yo, I could see myself in them with the Timbs and all that, and the hoodies, and it's just like visually it was just so much, me and my boys. So just a classic movie. Like I said, Juice and Boys in the Hood, I mean, you can go either way, but little bit of New York bias there, I admit. I gotta take Juice. And both good soundtracks. I gotta take this soundtrack. You know what I mean? Great actors. It's tight, with who you would pick. But like I said, it could go either way. I put Juice at number 1. New York bias, what can I say? But that being said, number 5, Fresh. Number 4, Menace to Society. Number 3, New Jack City. Number 2 is Boys in the Hood. And number 1, Juice. I hope you enjoyed that. If you like hood movies, and I'm sure you got some like, how did you not put this there? Trust me, this killed me. It took me a while to whittle it down from about 30 to these 5. And I had to make all those concessions in the beginning of what I wouldn't include just to get it down to 5. But anyway, one of the things that I like to say in my videos here is I got these cool shirts that I wear, designed by my boy Dave, my partner in Futuristic Vintage. Shout out Dave. If you like the shirts and you want to order them, you go to futuristicvintage.net. That's futuristicvintage.net. He's got a deal. It's in the description. If you come from this channel, on getting some shirts. You got all kinds of cool designs, a lot of pop culture stuff, some movie stuff, all really cool designs, shirts, not too expensive. And like I said, come from this channel and say Mr. Movie sent you. So thank you so much for watching. And if you want to see more content, I make a lot of videos talking about my movie collection. Just, hit the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, so when I put out a new one, you'll get alerted. You can check it out. Give the video a like, share it with your other movie nut friends, and tell them about the channel. I'd appreciate it. That being said, this is Mr. Movie signing off, and I will see you again next time at the Flicks.